Hey guys, welcome back. It's Delana. Today I want to talk about the new right that is rising. And I think this has kind of exploded ever since the Charlie Kirk assassination. Um, People are talking about it more, and especially when Bibi Netanyahu, he calls it the woke Reich. So, and what is that? And why is it happening? And I think, like I said, ever since the Charlie Kirk assassination, I think it's just taken off. I think that whoever is responsible for that assassination, be it Israel, be it the feds, or however it was orchestrated, is having the exact opposite effect that it was supposed to have. And I think it, like Bibi Netanyahu says, that we have to get a hold of this woke right and start changing the narrative. And that means taking over the Twitters and the TikToks and now CBS and um, Larry Ellison. They all want to take over the algorithms, the narrative, and they want to kind of get rid of this woke right. And I find that the more you want to suppress something, the more it's just going to come out in full force, and that's what's happening. So, what is this new, right rising? And this kind of summed it up pretty tight. They have five core aims: the promotion of the nuclear family, which Charlie Kirk was trying to do, mass deportation and re-immigration, embracing and harnessing white identity, ending global Jewish influence, and dismantling the big state. So, and who is on board with this? And this is a perfect example of the woke right that Bibi Netanyahu was talking about. And for me, these are the people that I listen to, especially Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, love Ian Carroll, Dave Smith, and even this Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think they're all talking. For me, it's like they're talking truth. That's what I feel like. They're trying to get down to what the deep state is. How do we dismantle that deep state? What is really going on? Because right now it just seems like it's a complete shit show, especially with the Charlie Kirk assassination, because they've been fumbling this investigation right from the get-go. Nothing makes sense whatsoever. And then the result of that is that, people are hating on Israel more, or kind of sick of it, and sick of the unlimited funding going towards Israel. We've literally given them over $33 billion in the last 3-4 years. And why are we doing that? And I think people are just had enough of it, and they're trying to grasp on into their support, and that means changing the narrative of everything, and taking control of our social media. But I think not only is the older generation getting sick of it, I think the younger generation is getting sick of it as well. I have three young boys, voting age 18 to 22, and I really focus on kind of what are they listening to. I'm very interested because I think that's the younger generation that's going to shape the future, and that's why the TPUSA was so significant, and especially Israel having a hold on that kind of, not clientele, but those voters, those listening ears, and Charlie Kirk was tapped right into them. And my boys did well, they did listen to Charlie Kirk, but that's not who they were really listening to. And when I really focus on who they're listening to, and it's these top three guys. I don't know who the top bottom three guys are, but Nick Fuentes, 100%, they listen to him. They listen to every single one of his shows. They love Kanye West. Love Kanye West. And Tate, they listen to all three of these guys, and they are all pretty much very much right leaning individuals. And it's amazing how they're shaping what's going to be the future. And that's where Israel is losing a grip, because these three guys, like, I'm just talking, like I said, in my own household and what I know that they're listening to, but they're all just sick of it. They're just sick of well, first of all, they're sick of the left bullshit. Like, I have one son who's in with a major airlines and learning to be a pilot, and then he's just getting looked over and looked over to even get into the program, gets in the program. Now he's looking for future jobs. And he's like, Mom, I can't get a job because I'm like, he's a white male. And I think that so many people are so sick of it. And it's just, ending, and I'm like, "God, isn't this DEI stuff over?" And he's like, it's going out, but it's going out very slowly and surely. It's not yet who's the best person for the job." And I think that's where they missed out on that younger generation from the left. And then when you look to the right side, what they're sick of is the Israel stuff. They don't wanna be pushed to think anything. So when the Israeli stuff comes down, and you got to think about, you know we should be supporting this unlimited war. And they're the type of kid, they're gonna, with the internet, and I guess that's why Israel wants to get a hold of the internet and the social media, because that's what the young generation is looking at. And I think it's just gone too far. I already, like, when I sit down and have lunch with my 21-year-old, and he's talking about how there's a genocide over there in Palestine, and why is all our money going towards, the Israel, and that's the topic of conversation. Wow, it's gone too far, and I don't think they'll ever get it back. But like I said, this is the new right that people are listening to. And even, like I said, my own generation, like myself, you know, I'm listening, and these are the people that they're trying to silence. They're trying to silence the Tucker Carlsons. They're trying to silence um, the Candace Owens. That's who they're going after. And someone, I don't know if it was online or someone asked the question the other day, is like, well, why did they go after Charlie Kirk? I think that they said Tucker Carlson is more against Israel, vocally out there, and even Candace Owens, than Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was definitely still on side, was kind of moving towards the other side. However, I and my response was like, it's because Charlie Kirk was tapped into that younger generation. You know, can't say my kids really listen to Tucker Carlson, or even Candace Owens, but they do. That younger generation that Charlie Kirk was tapped into, those are minds that can be molded. That's the next generation. That's what's going to take them into the future. The people, like the old guards, like old people like me that are listening to Tucker Carlson, not that they don't care, but that's not what's going to shape the future. What's shaping the future is who Charlie Kirk was tapped into. It was that younger generation, and that's what they need. They need those people on board. So who are these woke right, and why do we need to get control of them? Is because people are listening. And you even look at the influencers, like the Laura Loomers of the world. Like, you can just tell it's just this bullshit lines that they keep spewing out. And every time I see someone make some comment about Israel, pro Israel, like, oh, there goes another $7,000, there's another $7,000 that they're paying for. We don't want to listen to people that don't have original thoughts. We don't want to listen to people that are getting paid to tell us to be pro Israel. No one's like, it's so transparent at this point. And I think even Candace Owens was talking about this the other day. It's like, when you look back at JFK when he was assassinated, not everybody had a cell phone. It wasn't all recorded. Not everybody could talk. You would read it in the newspaper, and you would have to believe what you read in the newspaper. That's not the way it is anymore. The way it is now is like, it is by the minute. We're seeing stuff, and it goes viral. It goes around the world within instant, and people are talking about it. People are listening. You have, like, they tried to silence Nick Fuentes, I don't know how many times. He's got kicked it off, I don't know how many platforms. And the only reason, like I said, I started listening to him is because my boys said they were listening to him. And sometimes I'm very interested to hear what they're listening to. Who are they listening to? Why are they listening to him? And then it was very interesting when I started to listen. I'm like, holy crap, yeah, he's got a lot to say, and it is very interesting, his perception on everything. And I can't see that he's, not that I agree with everything he says, but I agree with a lot. And he is, and I think that's what's coming out, is it's America first. And that's, not make America great again, but America first. I think America first, and make it like a MAGA, make America great again versus America first, are become two different things. And I think the woke right is like, why isn't America first? And like that young generation, like my boys' generation, may like America first, period. Not make America, like they're kind of beyond the MAGA. It's like, America has to be first. Why aren't we first? And Not that it's white supremacy, but it's like, why am I being discounted against because I am a white male? Why am I not getting the job because I am a white male? And they're just so over that. And that's not that new generation coming up. It wants to put an end to all this. And the Nick Fuentes of the world are calling out the bullshit, and those young kids are listening. And he has a movement that's coming through that, I heard that he did a YouTube video. I haven't listened to it yet, but him and Dave Smith did a YouTube video, and it was supposed to be one of the most watched videos on YouTube in the last, I don't know, it just happened in the last 48 hours or whatever. But people are listening, and that's this new woke generation, not woke, the woke right generation is coming up. And it will be interesting to see how things change. But I think that the right needs to all see what is changing, and I think those influencers that are getting paid that $7,000 to pay them to tell us what they're supposed to say and regurgitate, I think those people are gonna be, yeah, they might get the money now, but in the long run, it's gonna run out, and it's gonna run out real quick because people don't wanna hear what someone's put in your mind to regurgitate out so you can change my mind. I don't think, Nick Fuentes is getting paid by anybody. I don't think the Tate brothers are getting paid by anybody. Even all these influencers here, like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, they're not getting paid by anybody. They're getting paid by the people that actually support them and listen to them. They're not paid influencers. And that's the difference. It's even Dave Smith, he's a comedian, but none of these guys are paid influencers like the Laura Loomers of the world. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens going forward. But like I said, that younger generation, times are changing, and they're even all three of my boys don't want to go to university. They don't want to go to college. One of them's, like I said, training to be an airline pilot, didn't have to go to university. The second one, 21 years old, never went to university, they're both all elite athletes, played AAA tier 1 hockey. They all have, I believe, hard work ethic. They have everything, they haven't the skills in life to be successful, and none of them wanted to go to university. And the 21-year-old is, doing very well, has a job. He's making like $160,000 a year. He has like $65,000 in a 401k already. um, Doing well. And he has zero debt. He's making a lot more money than a lot of people that have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a university degree. He's so far ahead of that and will continue to go on in life doing well because he has the work experience behind him now and the work ethic. And then the 18-year-old I have is started his own business in um, high school, was making almost $50,000 a year in high school and running his own business that he started with nothing, absolutely nothing. He started with, and he's doing well as well. So I think the times are changing, and I think that the left with that elitist and the universities, and you have to go to university, and to for them to brainwash you even more and to think like them. I think that this new woke rising doesn't need to necessarily go to university. I think they're finding their own way. I think if you're kind of on the right, you believe in working hard and the free markets and getting yourself ahead and not relying on anybody else to move yourself forward. I think that's what's coming through. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens going forward. But like I said, I think this whole um, Charlie Kirk thing had the exact opposite result happen that they thought was going to happen. I think that shit has hit the fan. This woke right is rising, and I think it's not stopping. This is like I'm in real estate. We always talk about what's the procuring cause and what starts this ball rolling. No, I don't. I think the ball was already rolling before the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, but I think this ball is rolling, and this is a snowball that's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's not stopping at anytime soon. And I'm all on board. Like I said, these are the people I listen to. I think they're all great. I have to do my own research. I don't even listen to mainstream media anymore. I'm done with that. I think it's another, even on the Fox News is still a propaganda arm. It's owned by Rupert Murdoch. Again, pro Israel. These are all just arms of a big propaganda machine. And at least online, you can find your own research. You can look at multiple different sources and come up with your own conclusion. And I find that's what the younger generation is doing as well. There's just so many more resources at your fingertips that you can do your own research and find out your own conclusions with things. Like when we grew up, we had the news and we had the newspaper. Those are the two kind of options you had to kind of get information. And then we actually had to go to the library and read books. That's how old I am. We had libraries. We had no internet when I was in high school. So I actually had to go to the library, get microfiches, God. But we had to do our own research. So I think that's this new generation is, like I said, not listening to mainstream media more. Now we know that even the Twitters, the TikToks, they're all getting controlled now. So I think everybody's doing their own research. This new woke right is going to be very interesting to see how it ends up. So let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you think is going to happen with this new woke right? Is it going to move on or is it going to die a slow death? So anyways, let me know your thoughts. Thanks. Bye.